Welcome back, everybody, to the Shining Athletes podcast. It is our 9th episode. Erin, you weren't here last episode, but welcome back. I'm very glad to have you back.
Thank you. And I'm so glad that I get to introduce another cousin of mine. As you can maybe get the vibe, athleticism runs in our blood, and Maddie is no exception. She is currently playing softball for Macalester College in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and we are so excited to have her on this podcast. It was so fun recording it. We learned so much, and we hope you will learn more about her process and what it's like to be a college athlete in the midst of COVID, while also trying to balance a variety of opportunities that universities have to offer.
I'm Tyler Baum.
I'm Erin Molay.
And let's get right into this episode. Welcome back to the Shining Athletes podcast, everybody. I'm excited to be back. Erin, welcome back to the podcast. Thank you, everybody, for coming back. We have another special guest, one of Erin's other cousins. We've already had one on, and we're lucky enough to get another one. She is a softball player at Macalester College, and she was a star athlete at Glenbrook North High School. I'm excited to get more into her story, but Erin, if you want to introduce your cousin, and we can get right into it.
Yes, thank you. Clearly, the Molay Dot family just has athleticism pumping in our veins. So happy Maddie's here. Yes, Maddie is currently playing softball at Macalester. She played her entire life. She's pitched. She does a lot of infield. And we are so excited to hear more about her college recruiting experience, and what life of a student athlete looks like as a student, but also someone that's navigating post-grad opportunities while balancing what senior year expectations are. So thank you so much, Maddie, for being here. And we're going to dive right in. So I love Maddie. All of the gals played softball, but everyone wants to know how Maddie fell in love with softball. So Maddie, can you tell us when you first started, what kept you going, and what some of your favorite childhood growing up memories were of the game?
Yes, first, thank you for having me. Very excited. I first discovered softball, I think, honestly, when I was in preschool. I played t-ball, and I loved it. And then I moved and played, I want to say, a couple years of the Northbrook House League program, where I first learned how to pitch. I remember those days pretty vividly. And I'd say like my biggest reason for playing softball initially was my dad. He is a great athlete himself. He probably wouldn't say that, but he definitely is. And he is a huge baseball fan. He played rec softball, and I loved going to his games and watching baseball games with him. So I think that was like my first real reason for playing. And then at the time, all of my friends were playing softball. So I liked being able to do that with my friends. And at some point when I really started focusing on pitching, I think that was just what kept me going. I've been a pitcher my whole life, playing, and I just loved that. I loved being in control of the game. And yeah, let's see, some favorite softball memories. I think my favorite high school memory was I threw a perfect game, which was really awesome and something that I don't think I can ever really get over. Definitely my favorite outing that I've had. And it was great. Obviously, I pitched well, but everyone around me also was just doing their job. So it felt like a big team effort. And that was something that I really took away from that.
Yay, it's really hard to top a perfect game.
Yeah, really that's a good way to get your name out there.
In addition to throwing a perfect game, would you say when you were in high school, were there other things that you did as a student to help boost your presence and boost your name when applying and looking to college and softball programs at the university level?
Yeah, I think I've always been very involved, whether it was playing a lot of sports growing up or just being in different clubs and groups. In high school, I was on the Future Educators of America board, and I didn't necessarily want to be a teacher, but I loved working with kids. And one of my favorite teachers was in charge of that program. So I loved being able to be affiliated with that. I was a peer group leader, which is something that seniors at Glenbrook North were able to do. And you're paired with another senior and get to have a group of freshmen that you meet with every other day, give them advice, help them go through high school, I guess. So that was a super awesome experience. I had done peer group my first year, and so I knew as a senior that was something that I had wanted to do. And then I did Operation Snowball, which is a retreat program. It definitely was a big deal my freshman and sophomore year. And then unfortunately with COVID, junior year had gotten canceled, and my senior year, they were trying to rebuild it. But it's like team building and getting to know people in your school and just like, I don't know, kind of reinforcing that people are there for you and you have a good, I don't know, resources there that can help you when you're going through things. And then my freshman year, I played volleyball, which was fun, but I don't know. Sophomore year, played club field hockey. I don't know. I just always loved being involved and feel like that has stayed true to myself now, also in college.
Awesome. I know you had mentioned, and I know you were in the group of COVID, so things are very much like the exception to the rule when applying for things. But while you were navigating that process and building your resume and also just putting your name out there with all of these accolades, would you say there was like a tip or trick or just something that you really prioritized doing so that when you did submit either your application, your profile, whatever it may be, you knew that you had all the components or that you had additional pieces to make your application like that much better?
I think I was just trusting the process, and I was doing my best in school and trying to just spread myself as thin as I could without being too spread out. But just in general, like I knew that softball was one of my big priorities when I was looking at schools, but also not forgetting that academics do matter. And so I was trying to focus on that as well. And during COVID specifically, I think trying to still be involved as much as I could. My junior year was mostly online. We had the opportunity to go in person if we wanted to, but I know I'm someone who likes to go by a routine. So I definitely chose to stay home just because I had built that into my system. And I think I still remained involved in the groups that I had been involved in prior, and then continued to be with them once the world came back to normal or close to back to normal.
So to kind of go off of that, I know it was probably hard to really adjust when you got back from COVID, but how did going through kind of the recruiting process, how did you handle that with visits and communicating with coaches and staying in contact when you couldn't really do much?
Yeah, I remember the spring break of my junior year. My mom and I took a road trip up to see some schools in Wisconsin and then ultimately see Macalester and the University of Minnesota. And so that was really nice. No one was on campus, so I kind of just got a sense for what the campus was like. And then I guess I was really fortunate that the coaches that I do play for now did happen to see me play. I know a lot of my teammates who were recruited the same years as me were solely sending them videos. But Minnesota isn't too far from where I'm from, so it helps that they would be in tournaments that I would be in and stop by. And I think primarily the biggest tool that I used was just online communication. I would be texting my current assistant coach and sending her videos or emailing them and other schools that I was talking to at the time, pitching clips that my dad would help me put together, or just sending emails and saying that I was interested in them. My junior year, at this point in the spring, I wasn't 100% sure where I wanted to go yet, but I definitely had a smaller list than I would have had a few months prior to that.
That's a crazy process, because I feel like during the COVID era, it's just, one, it's so hard. It was so hard to travel, but two, also to stay in contact and communication with the coaches and kind of stay on top of your recruiting when you can't really go out and get game film, or you can't go to camps. Just kind of building a relationship. That must have been kind of, obviously a different process, but it must have been cool to get to know your coaches before even making the decision.
The thing that I had always said about specifically our assistant coach is the one who usually is handling the recruits. She would just text all of us periodically, all of the girls she was recruiting, and just say, like, here are the trees on campus today, or stuff like that. And I think that was really big. And I really appreciated it when I was, I guess, verbally committed to play here, but also just when I was still figuring out the best fit for myself. And I think it's nice. And also just, I do my best to respond quickly. I know the coaches are doing their best to do that too, but something that I was really appreciative of at the time.
Were you able to talk to any of your teammates before the transition to college? Did you get to know your teammates a lot during COVID? Because that was kind of leading into when you started college, obviously.
Yeah, so I went to, we host a camp every year that's like a recruiting camp. So I went to the camp my senior year in the fall, and I still hadn't officially made my decision where I was going to go. After the camp, I had decided that this was where I wanted to go to school. And coincidentally, I think almost all of the other girls in my class who were committed there also were at the camp. So I got to see their faces and kind of meet them there. We didn't all know we were going to end up here, but it was funny because I remember we would sit on Zoom calls with our coaches, and they would try to just like answer some questions and just get us to be like familiar with each other. Yeah. And it was, our coaches were saying how we had all been at the camp together, and that was a big deal. And we all had crossed paths without maybe realizing it. And then one of my current roommates, she doesn't play anymore, but she had added me on Snapchat, I think, like a few months before we went to school, and we got really close really quickly. And so the two of us started talking, and by the time school came around, we were really close. And then Macalester randomly assigns your first year roommates, and I was coincidentally paired with someone on the softball team. So me and her also got to talk before coming to school, and it was nice because we were transitioning to do the same sport together.
That must be awesome, because, you know, that we've been trying to tell this story through other guests, but no one's really had as much detail with going to camps. And I think that's a perfect example of why everybody should go to as many camps as they possibly can, because you never know. You can end up playing with most of your teammates that day. And
on top of that, I had gone to camps at big schools that I never would have gone to specifically, just getting the experience, seeing how coaches work. Exactly. I mean, I'd go to Northwestern camps, and I went to a camp at Miami, Ohio, and I'm sure little me thought that like that was a possibility. But realistically, once the recruiting journey started and finding what was the best fit, it was just like, I went to those camps, and I also went to a few more like showcase style camps as well. But it's definitely, I think a camp is great. I think it's nice, especially if you are wanting to go to a specific school, going to their camp. But yeah, I really enjoyed my time, and even now being on the team, helping run the camp has been super awesome, and meeting the future generation of our softball players.
Yay. Maddie's a busy bird. I remember that. I feel like every other weekend, my dad and he were like, oh, going to the state, going to this camp. Maddie's here. Maddie's here. It's like, oh my gosh. She's amazing.
The lifestyle of a student athlete, Erin.
I know, but like it literally felt like, yeah, Maddie's booked for the next 8 to 12 months. Please don't schedule anything until that time has passed. It's like, okay. We live like 5 miles away, and I was like, yeah, she's unavailable. Like, okay.
Just never going to get to see you, basically.
Never. But it's fine. It's all for good reason. You kind of touched on this before, and like mentioning camp was really big, but would you say outside of camp, or kind of what you've mentioned already, was there something that stuck out that made Macalester feel like the right fit? Or was it kind of just like a culmination of things? Like what ultimately led to your final decision?
Yeah, so I think it was a combination of different things that kind of all hit me when I was at the camp, just because that was the first and honestly only time I had been on campus with a group of people. When I first saw it, that spring break with my mom, I loved the external location. I loved that it's near a big city. It's also very suburban. I mean, there's constantly families and dogs walking through campus, and I love that. And it just feels like a community within a community itself, and the school is really nestled in with the neighbors, which I liked. At the camp, I had met some of the girls who currently played on the team, and they also just spoke so highly of the program itself. And I could get the vibe that they really cared about softball. And I knew if I was going to play another 4 years, I wanted to play for a program that still prioritized softball as much as I did throughout my whole life. And so that was something that was really big. As I stated a little bit before, I felt like the coaches really cared to get to know me as a person. And I know the coaches have a crazy job of trying to find recruits that fit their schools, but also just like it felt good that my coach really knew who I was even before I stepped foot on campus. And then I guess as I transitioned, even my first couple of days, like being surrounded by such a diverse group of people and taking these small classes, which at first I was really nervous about just because Macalester is the size of Glenbrook North. So I was a little nervous about that. I didn't want it to feel like high school, but it felt like something completely different in such a positive way. And I think it kind of reinforced that the decision I made was a great decision. And ultimately the people have been exactly what I hoped and wanted them to be.
Once you were at Macalester and you knew it was your new home for the next 4 years, do you want to tell us about your freshman year, how the like transition from high school athletics to college athletics looks, and maybe what was the same, different, and how those two different stages and expectations compared?
Yeah, I think it honestly didn't feel like that big of a jump, just because even when I wasn't doing team-led practices, I guess through my high school time, I felt like I was always putting in work, especially as a pitcher. That's what you do. And so it didn't feel that much different. And as I said, I lived with a girl on the softball team. And then just, I think coincidentally, we kind of clung to the other student athletes. So it was nice because I was surrounded by people who were also kind of new to the environment, but also going through the same transition that I did. And I think the school here does a great job of getting us used to being on our own for the first time. We had like 5 days, I think, of orientation, which might seem like a lot, but we got to meet people, know a little bit about the school. And then I want to say a couple days after we started school, we started practice, which was nice. And we would do, oh gosh, I can't even remember what our schedule was like my first year because it completely changed for my sophomore year, just with like NCAA rules. But we would have a form of a fall season. My first year, we weren't able to play any games or scrimmages like that, but we definitely were practicing a few times a week, doing pitching workouts, and all of that. I think the off season was what was really different, and it's changed, as I said, but in the winter, we weren't able to talk to our coaches at all for my first year. And then after that, the rules changed and we're able to talk to them about softball, and our team practices once a week with our coaches. So I really appreciated that. But my first year relying solely on like independent work and captain's practices was definitely, I think, the biggest adjustment. I'd say I'm a pretty self-motivated person, but at some point when there's a lot of school going on and other stuff, it can be hard to motivate yourself. So I was really glad when the rule got changed and we could at least practice for sure once a week with our
How was your day-to-day life transition like? Because obviously you go from having, I don't know what Glenbrook North does, but having probably 8 classes a day to 2, maybe 3 classes a day and a bunch of workouts on top of it when you get to college.
Yeah, I think my first year I had 4 classes, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then I want to say a lab on Tuesday and a lab on Thursday or something like that. And GBN was a block schedule, so I was kind of used to having some classes one day and other classes a different day. I think it was definitely an adjustment, but I don't think it was necessarily bad. I kind of liked having, and I've always enjoyed like having one class and then having a little bit of extra time to do my work and then do another class. I think my high school experience really prepared me for like the workload that I was going to experience. So I didn't feel too overwhelmed with the amount of homework or anything I was getting. I think it felt pretty similar. Just my high school did lifting and we, especially out of season. And when we were in season for softball, we would practice a lot as well. I think it was just a longer term in season than what I was used to. But it all felt super, I guess we all felt very eased into it, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Maddie. Was it your freshman year or your sophomore year? I feel like it was your freshman year, but I could have my years messed up. You went to Australia with your team?
Yes. So we
Okay.
went the summer going into my sophomore year. So both of those.
Okay.
But my school is really awesome that the softball program every 4-ish years, they'll take an international trip, which was one of the bonuses, I guess, of going to school here. I wouldn't say it necessarily like drew me here. I think I found out about the international program when I was pretty deep into my recruiting. But it's a super awesome opportunity. And we went to Australia. They're planning their next international trip now for next winter. And we played, I want to say like 3 softball games over the course of 12-ish days. And the rest of the time we spent just exploring and all of that. And it was super amazing. And Australia had been like my dream place to go. So I was really fortunate that that was an opportunity that I had gotten from going to school at Macalester.
That's really cool. I know a lot of Division III schools do something like that and are part of that type of deal.
Yeah, could have been a chaperone, but maybe in another life. It's fine. It's fine.
Sorry.
Whatever. Next time, I
Erin,
guess.
don't you have friends that work in the aviation industry?
I could have gotten like almost a free trip to Australia, and I could say that I was doing it on behalf of Maddie, even though part of it would be for me.
You would have had to watch some fun softball games.
You know me, love watching sports. Like, I'm all for go Maddie, but one in Australia, you have to do everything. You know what I'm saying? Could have been me. Maddie ended up going with my aunt, her mom, which is fine. Good second choice. Could have been me. That's all I'm saying. I don't want to diminish Maddie's freshman year season. She made 23 appearances. She started in 5 games as a pitcher. One of her biggest highlighted moments was that she had 6 strikeouts in about 4 innings. And even with all of these amazing statistics, she had an even better, I want to say, statistic performance in her sophomore year. So, Maddie, do you want to talk to us about your sophomore season and just some of the things? I know you had briefly mentioned how the tournament rules and NCAA changed rules around that time. So how that affected maybe your performance, ability to do things, etc.
Yeah, I think the biggest challenge I had faced, honestly, with school was my first year season. I really hit a roadblock mentally, and I felt like I just wasn't performing the way that I used to perform. And that was something that I, still at moments like struggle with to this day. And it's something that I feel like my freshman year, I was kind of like denying it and was like, oh, like it's okay or whatever. And I mean, so many people go through that. It's definitely not just a me thing, but just it had never been something that I had experienced before. And so I think that was really challenging and something that I worked really hard over that summer to kind of overcome. And it was nice having games in the fall to play. That was one of the biggest changes that our conference made when the rules changed was we were allowed one day in the fall at the end of our fall season to play non-conference games. So I think we played 3 games. And that was nice because it kind of felt like I had been improving and working on my mental, I don't know if I want to say mental toughness, but just like maybe not holding myself to such a high standard and putting all of this excess pressure on myself that I really didn't need to be putting on and I shouldn't have been putting on.
Just go out and be a softball player. Have fun
exactly. Like just throw the ball. Like, how to throw the ball. No, but in general, I think that jump and having that time to work and again, having those weekly practices with our coach was super nice. And just in general, like getting out of my own head, because we're our worst competitor, to be honest. I mean, I think that's something that a lot of athletes struggle with, and it takes time to recognize, but we put a lot of pressure on ourselves.
It's always fun to just have fun with the game you love and just go out and be yourself.
Tyler, don't you know that's only possible when you're 6 years old? You have no other cares in the world.
Erin, guess what? It could happen every day.
Okay. We're not like
every day if you just enjoyed it instead of having to stress about it.
Exactly. And I think
but Maddie's a student athlete. She can't just la-di-da her way on the field.
Enjoy the process. Enjoy being
I totally agree. You should. I totally agree that you should enjoy the process. But like if Maddie wasn't stressing, how would she have been recognized as an all-American scholar athlete her junior year? She was a busy, hardworking athlete. How else would she have been named the all-MIAC both sophomore and junior year?
Erin, all I'm saying
there's a lot at stake here.
Erin,
there's a lot of numbers proving that it's not as easy lemon squeezy.
Erin, all I'm saying is you gotta have some enjoyment to what you're doing.
Oh, and I totally agree.
Have fun with it. If you have fun with it and put in the work, that's where you get results.
I agree.
And don't put crazy pressure on yourself because it's not going to help you.
Don't put pressure on yourself, but there's always external pressure. That's what I'm saying the challenge is.
Right, but I didn't face the external pressure until I was on the Macalester softball team.
You trust in your work. That's what you do.
Yeah. There's a lot
And you
going on.
In your work.
Continuing on your athletic timeline, as I just mentioned, Maddie was named or recognized as an All-American Scholar Athlete in her 2025 season. Again, because she was putting in the work, she was having fun, but she had priorities too. Can you tell us
That's a good word. I like
Can you please tell the audience how you were able to achieve that accolade and what kind of contributes to earning that title and just having that momentum to not only be a softball player, but to also be the student side of a student athlete?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things that I've taken advantage of in college is getting to take the classes I want to take, which makes school a lot more interesting. And I think when school and the classes I'm taking are interesting, I want to work a lot harder at what I'm doing. So in the fall of my junior year, I wasn't even in the country, so I was taking some crazy classes. But then when I got back, it was more classes directly for my major and for my minor, or just other classes that I genuinely was interested in taking. So that was super nice because I've always enjoyed school, but I definitely enjoy it more when I don't have to take like a math class or anything. So that was nice. But then I think also just I've learned through high school, just in general, a lot of time management skills, and that comes with being a student athlete, and finding the best times of day that I like to take class. We don't have a great luxury of having classes offered at every single time throughout the day. But when I can pick a certain time that I like taking classes then. And then on top of that, just learning when I have practice, when I can't take class, stuff like that. So time management has been a big strength that I've learned and has helped me get to where I am.
Amazing. Now, looking at your whole athletic academic career at Macalester altogether, I know you're not totally finished, but how would you say the experiences of player-led practices, NCAA tournament rules, going to Australia, studying abroad, being a student athlete, how would you say all of those little pieces shaped your overall student athlete identity and like who you are now as a person?
Ooh, I think one of the biggest things that I have learned is leadership wise. I think growing up, I always tried to lead by example, and I like to do the right thing. I don't really enjoy getting in trouble, never have, and I don't think I ever really will enjoy getting in trouble. But that's something where I've always been kind of quiet, and I think as I've gotten older and have kind of found my footing, I've been more vocal and taken more leadership opportunities. This year, I'm our SAC President, which is our Student Athlete Advisory Committee. And that was a big jump for me. I was involved last year, but as I said, I was abroad in the fall, so I wasn't super involved. And then taking over for, I'd been on our board for 2 years, so seeing two presidents before me just do really amazing things was a little bit scary. So I think along with being a more vocal leader and trying to help the younger Scots, but also just doing things that are out of my comfort zone. Going abroad was scary at first, and there were moments where, I felt lonely or felt like maybe this wasn't the place for me, but in the end, it was one of the best experiences of my entire life, and I wouldn't have changed a second about it. As I said, running for SAC President was a big deal, but also just being louder in the dugout and on the field. It's something that I think I sometimes question myself if what I'm saying is the right thing, but trusting what I've learned and following what older players have done, that has been big. And I think just in general, Macalester has given me so many amazing opportunities, and I've met so many awesome people. The psychology department, I'm I'm a psychology major, so very involved in the department, but everyone is so welcoming and they want you to do your best. And so I think taking advantage of the people who want you to succeed and want you to do better. I've learned the importance of networking. That's been something that has been drilled into our brains, especially going to a small school. The people who have graduated are going to be your best friends in the real world. And so that's something that I've also been able to look to.
I love that. Now, if current Maddie had a crystal ball and can go back and give high school Maddie, or any high school athlete for that matter, pieces of advice, what would some of your biggest piece of advice, takeaways, like mottos be to the younger students and athletes?
I think the biggest thing that I would tell the younger athletes is you're going to get out what you put in. And so if you work really hard and you're trying to achieve a dream or pursuing a goal of yours, you're going to be able to do it one way or another. Also trusting the process. It looks different for everyone. I know I coach a 16U softball team, and some of them have talked to me about wanting to play in college and have asked what my experience was. And obviously I'll share my story. It's going to be different from person to person. So trusting that your process is going to work out how you want it to. Being open. I think you'd rather have a long list of schools that you're interested in and maybe are curious about than not having as many, I guess. I think it's better to have too many than too little. And then just in general, like, it's okay to not know answers to some of your questions. I think it's hard, and going into college, whether you're playing a sport or not, is all something new, and everyone around you is experiencing the same thing. So just in general, like, being open to trying new things, but it's okay that you're scared, and it's okay that you don't really know what's going to happen. It'll all work out.
I totally agree with that. I think, as me and Erin have kind of taken out this saying from every guest that we've had so far, choose your path. Your path is individualized, and it is the way that you get out what you put in. And you have to put in the work, but Maddie, I think your explanation of that is perfect. I mean, I could take that transition into it. Should we get into the speed round questions?
Yes, that's exactly where I was going to go.
Let's do it.
Yes, Maddie, this is probably my favorite part of the entire podcast. We have some rapid fire questions for you. Just shout out whatever answer comes to your brain. No pressure. Are you ready?
So ready.
Okay. What has been your favorite teammate moment at Macalester so far?
Every year we go on our spring break trip to Florida, and one of those nights we do a PowerPoint night, and it's always a good team bonding moment. And I think it really is just one of the highlights of Florida, and I love getting to know more about my teammates.
Do you guys have a certain theme when you do the slideshows?
No, and honestly, it's kind of less and less people have done them. Last year, one of my teammates and I made our whole team using AI into men.
Oh my God, I love it.
It was really funny. It was a big hit.
That's made it amazing. I love that. Okay. What is your favorite pitch to throw under pressure?
She might not want to spoil her game plan.
I feel like it doesn't matter the time, but my favorite pitch is my drop curve.
That kind of sounds cool. I don't know what that is, but
it's like a slider in baseball.
Okay, that's bad. Yeah.
Okay, which is harder, bases loaded or a final exam?
I mean, I haven't really had a lot of final exams. We're a big paper school, so I'm going to say a bases loaded exam.
Wow.
Yeah, I feel like psych and education are similar, where you just have essays.
Lots of papers.
Yeah.
You a double play type of pitcher in that situation?
Ideally, yeah, or get a strikeout or something. That would be the best case scenario, to be honest. But double play would be nice too. Triple play.
What is your go-to walkout song?
Okay, so this is going to be like crazy. I don't really have one. I've changed it the past 3 years. So I don't know. I don't have a favorite. I'm always in the hunt for a new one though.
Wow. That's really interesting.
I can respect that. I never can decide to favorite anything. What is your favorite post-game meal?
Chipotle.
What's your Chipotle order?
Well, okay, we stop usually on the way home from away games somewhere, and Chipotle is a fan favorite because everyone can just get what they want. But I get a bowl with white rice, black beans. If I'm wanting guac and a drink, I won't get any meat. But if I don't care for a drink, I'll get steak. We have a budget. And then corn, sour cream, cheese, guac, lettuce, sometimes pico.
You're like Eden. You're very toppings heavy.
Yeah. What do you get?
I respect it. Brown rice, black beans, fajita veggies, chicken, corn, and cheese.
That's so plain.
I'm vanilla. I'm boring. What is your biggest softball pet peeve?
The first thing that comes to mind is when there's like some neavage going on. That's when like you can see the skin like in between the pants and the socks.
I hate that.
Because like softball players usually like bunch their pants up, but when socks are really short, it's not a great mix. And it happens to everyone. Like if I have a little neavage showing, it's really embarrassing.
It's like not even comfortable if there's like a sliver exposed.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. I remember that when I played. I hated that. Ugh. I totally agree with that. What is your dream job outside of athletics?
This is hard because I do want to go into something with athletics. I feel like it would be cool to be like a travel blogger or something that you can just go see the whole world and not have to worry.
Your cousin's dream job.
I had that dream first.
Well, to be fair, my dream job is what I'm hoping to go into. So
yeah, but travel blogger is like the best backup job I think ever.
Yeah. I don't know what else I would do though, because I think anything I would want to go into would be something with sports. That's just how I've grown up.
Yeah, that is fair.
I hear you, Maddie. I hear you. That's why I'm still in it.
Dude, stop interrupting. Maddie, what is your preferred time of day to take a class?
I've been really liking, and this is a really hot take, I like my 8 a.m., 8:30 classes.
Those are my favorite.
The worst is the 3:30 time. Worst.
Anything that starts in the PM, I can't do.
I have Tuesdays and Thursdays, I have 3 classes each day, and it's so nice. I have like an 8 a.m., a 9:40, and then a 1:20. The 1:20 is the hardest to go to.
Mm-hmm.
I was a 3 p.m. type of guy.
No, I got all the 8 a.m.s I could.
Yeah, I'll take them anytime. Don't have to fight very hard to get those.
Erin would always ask me, she would always be like, you Snapchatted me at like 11:30. Why were you up? I was like, because I don't have class till 3 p.m.
People are weird in this world, Maddie.
No, I like to be in bed at like 10, 9:30 maybe.
It's
Still
like
don't
past
know how
my
I wake
bedtime. I'm filming this past my bedtime. You're welcome. The audience should be so appreciative right now.
Thank you, Erin. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Erin, you're not the special guest. She's the special guest.
She's my cousin.
Yeah,
in case
she's
you
the
didn't
special
remember
guest.
in the introduction, Maddie is like booked 12 months into the future. This might be one of the few times I actually can have like a conversation with her without chaos around me.
And you're also a
learned lot
teacher
about-
during the day.
Yeah, I
Haven't
have
you
to
learned a lot
work.
about your cousin though?
What?
Haven't you learned a lot about your cousin though?
Yes, but I also have already known she's booked so far in the future. I might not see her ever again until the next time.
I'm
there's a
coming home
podcast.
tomorrow.
Yeah, I work tomorrow, and I'm babysitting for 6 hours after I work. So, yeah, gotta get that bread up though. It's fine. Oh, last question. What is your plan post undergrad?
So I'm currently working on grad school applications. I'm hoping to go into sports psychology. As I said, something in athletics. Yeah, applying to schools right now. Yeah, sports psychology.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
I love that.
Do you have any like schools in mind?
I do, but I don't know if I could share them.
Okay.
Don't jinx it. Yeah,
There
we
you
don't
go.
want to.
There we
I don't
go.
know how that works.
Everybody will have to stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Everyone
Exactly.
just hope I get in.
Praying for
Please.
you, girl. Yeah, Maddie and I graduate, I think, like the same weekend in May.
Is it the 16th?
Yep.
Yep.
Are you going to Champaign?
Yep. Gotta get my degree. Gotta wear that ugly poofy hat.
But you
Only
don't
happens
actually get the
once.
degree. They send it to you.
You don't think I want to like walk across that stage and be like, I did that?
You've already done it.
Yeah, but I'm not going to the whole school one. I'm only going to the college one. And I know a bunch of my professors there.
Oh, that's fair.
Like, that's the thing. Like, I just spoke in one of my professor's classes last week.
I saw that. That's pretty baller.
Thank you. Year 2 in a row. And I have her again for one of my grad classes in the spring. So I can't not have her for class and then not go to graduation.
ILL.
I. Yeah, so Maddie and I will be graduating the same weekend. Love that for us. Yay.
That's so exciting.
And with that amazing news, I don't think anything else can top it. So we might as well just end it here. Amazing. Thank you so much, Maddie, for coming. I'm so glad you fit us into your teeny weeny, very busy, but sliver of time schedule. We very much appreciate you. As for the audience, I hope you learned so much, and that if you have any questions, Maddie will not have any time to answer you, but you can feel free to contact Tyler or myself.
I checked my email.
I'm not saying you don't check your email. I'm just saying you're a busy woman.
Audience,
okay. And
stay tuned.
I also
stay
had
tuned.
to subtle, like, shameless plug ourselves. Duh. You're welcome, Tyler. You're welcome.
We will update you on our socials on what Maddie's update is.
The Instagram people.
You act like I have no time. I do have time.
When?
You didn't have time. You're the one who's only free like random nights of the week. I'm just not free on Wednesdays.
Oh,
I'm not free on Wednesdays anymore either. I have grad school.
Well, with that being said, Maddie, we appreciate you coming on. Other exciting news, Maddie is a part of our Shining Athletes team. We love having her. She's been a great part to the team, a great addition, and you'll probably be seeing her on socials more and seeing more day in the life's probably. I hope so.
Yes.
Maybe.
Thank you for joining us. We really appreciate it, and I'm really excited for the audience to hear your story.
Yes, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Well, Erin, I was so glad that your cousin was able to come on, and one of our team members. She has an amazing story that she told. She went through a process that was her own path, and she made the work that she put in. She got out what she wanted to in her decision making. And at Macalester College, she got a 4-year experience that she says that she would never give up, or, if she went back in time, she would never take back anything, because she made her decisions based off of what she thought her work deserved. And she put in the work to get to where she is today. And her story is really amazing. I think softball players out there will get a lot out of this story and be able to really understand what it takes to be a student athlete as a softball player. And this is a different sport that we've kind of talked about. So it was really interesting to dive deep into what it's like for a student athlete like Maddie.
Yeah, I'm so glad my cousin came on. In case you didn't tell, but a million times I said it, Maddie is one of the most involved people I know. She's so busy, but she was able to really absorb all the different opportunities that colleges have to offer students, not just student athletes. And it's something that many of our audience members can look forward to as opportunities once they find their path at some college, some university, somewhere in the world. And Maddie was a really great example of all the different things you can do, try, and be a part of. So your whole experience isn't just your sport. You get to be a more well-rounded person and set yourself up for success post-grad. So thank you so much again, Maddie, for joining us. We loved having you. We hope that you all learned something as our audience. And please stay tuned for our next episode. Episode 10 will be airing in a few weeks. Make sure you like, subscribe, and follow us on YouTube, Amazon Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and check out our socials link below so you get all the updates as they're coming. Stay shining, athletes. Bye.
Peace.